a story about hurt and healing and progress and overtraining, overworking, and all these things, and especially how I met Gijs. This is also a promotion audio, kind of, for Gijs, as I want to praise his amazing work and the amazing person and the spirit he is. But let me tell you the whole story. So I'll give you an introduction to the story, then I'm going to tell you the whole story. So after the introduction, if you go like, oh, fuck this, I don't want to listen to this, this is like not worth my time, sure, fine, go find something else to do. I don't like you. But if you do enjoy the story, then sit down and I'm going to tell you something cool. So as for the introduction, I believe in magic. It might sound silly, but hear me out for a spell. Spell, get it? I know, I'm funny. I know. Well, some time ago, I hurt myself quite badly. And to this day, I'm not completely sure what happened. Not exactly, but I have an idea, but I'm not completely sure what happened. So, during one of the open mats, the many open mats that I tend to frequent, I had an injury. The injury resulted in chest pain. Not cardiac pain, chest plate pain. That is more of what was happening, and I don't know how I got it. I know you're just rolling at one point, and at the other point you have crippling pain. And that's what happened to me. And in hindsight, I was doing some weird battle Kama Sutra-esque contortionism, and of course I got hurt. Plus that, I was already pretty injured. I was injured already. Or not injured. I was injured by many little things. Like ankle here, knee there. And I should have seen these signs of overtraining coming. But of course, being the battle-hardened Spartan man, human that I am, I decided to train through all of it like most of us do. And you know, that's not the smart thing to do. But this pain ended up being something much more serious, where I lost most of the strength in my right arm, right pec, and numbness in my hands and fingers. So my hand was completely numb for a while. And yeah. I mean, do I need to tell you more? I mean, my hand was numb. My freaking hand was numb. And I didn't have any strength. When I say no strength, is I couldn't push against air with my right hand. That's it. Didn't just go. It stretched out, but it cost me so much energy to do that. And I was already, and this was disheartening because I was coming out of a really good training, and then injured, and then done. Just stopped everything. I had given up on jiu-jitsu. That's how my mind started racing. I was like, I was so disheartened, so relieved of joy, that I decided that, oh my God, I was already having thoughts about, all right, this is retirement for me. Not that I'm a pro athlete or anything like that, but it does occupy a great portion of my life, the training of grappling. So I was already considering retirement. Dumb, right? I'm a little bit of an overthinker in bad words, maybe a little bit of a drama king. But hey, you know, that's the thoughts that you go through once you're into these things. And in my wallowing and in my despair, I did remember Gijs. And somebody had also mentioned, a very dear friend of mine, very dear student of mine, had also mentioned, why don't you go see Gijs? Now you might actually be thinking, well, who is this mysterious Gijs person you're talking about? Well, in my mind's eye, I see him as a level 36 battle mage that is proficient in the art of soft touch and pressure point manipulation shit. That's how I see him. I see him like this mystical being that just floats around the world and everything like that. But it's actually very scientific, the stuff that he does, and it helps. So that's a little bit of a resume of the story. Of course, afterwards I went to talk to Gijs, and he did a couple of treatments on me, and lo and behold, I'm better. But how I got there is a story in and on itself, and that's just the whole story that I'm gonna tell you in a moment. So that was the introduction. So the story will be a little bit more of the same what I just told you in the introduction, but there will be more details. So now that you know what the story is about, you can decide if you want to listen or go away or whatever. But if you do want to listen, if you do want to hear more about this story, then sit down around the campfire and let me tell you the amazing story of hurt and healing, pain and recuperation. Something that seems very dramatic and tragic, but now that I've been through it, it was okay. It wasn't that bad. I've had worse, but I didn't have scarier. This one was scary. This one was scary too. Yeah, I don't know how to put that into words. It's like when you have an injury where you get really scared about it, but it turns out in the end it wasn't as bad. I mean, I didn't break anything, but it was a interesting experience. Now, let's start from the point where I did this all had a lead up to it, like everything in life. It's just that a lot of things just happen, but a lot of things also have a lead up to it, and with injuries especially, there's usually a lead up to it. And in my case, I just come off of a period of losing a lot of weight and being really focused into training a lot. And I should have listened to my body already, because I was waking up in the mornings with heart palpitations, and I was in my head. I went like, "Oh, this doesn't feel right." But the heart palpitations used to go away immediately, and I used to just write them off as being, I don't know, nightmares. Like this is the result of me having a nightmare of just waking up scared, or waking up frightened because of the alarm clock or something like that. So I used to write it off as that. But that is one of the major signs of overtraining, by the way. And I came out of that period, and in that time I was like, maybe I'll take 1 or 2 days rest. But you know what? Tomorrow is open mat. Now, for the people that don't know jiu-jitsu, open mat is slang for let's go into training and just fight for 2 hours straight. Open mat has never been used ever by anybody to go through techniques or drill something or be okay or talk to people. No, open mat has always been used for full-on sparring. That's it. That's it. And if you're lucky, another gym comes by to visit you, which means more sparring and more fighting and more of that stuff. Yeah. Now, I was ready. I was feeling good. I was a little bit tired. I overtrained. I didn't know I had overtrained, but I was ready. I was ready to challenge Gordon Ryan to a match. Not in jiu-jitsu, but I would challenge him to something. I don't know, something else. I remember that because I felt so good and so light, and I was going so well that I felt invincible. And so I went into sparring, and the first round was perfect. It was easy. Second round was the same thing. And I think and this is the thing, I think around that third or fourth roll, somewhere there, I realized I had this chest pain, and I didn't know when it happened. It happened when somebody pressured me or when I inverted or something like that. And this stabbing pain in my chest plate, and I was like, oh no, oh fuck. And like any normal jiu-jitsu guy, I thought by myself, well, let me finish the round. I was in pain and I decided to finish the round because that's the ego thing, you know? That's the ego thing. I'm a black belt and I was fighting somebody that wasn't, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't give in. I was doing too good. I didn't want to stop, and the pain was there. So the only positions I could hold for a while was fetal position. And I finished the round in fetal position. Guy asked me, "Are you okay? You look like a little bit white." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm fine. I'm fine." I stood up, shook it off a little bit, and I was like, "Okay, walking around and doing all these things, that's okay. Moving a little bit is okay. Still feel that pain, but my legs are good and my chest is good and the rest of my body is good, so I should be fine." And so I went and did another round because I was okay, and open mat wasn't done, and we have a warrior spirit and samurai to the death and whatever have you. Honor before death or something like that, death or dishonor. And I did another round, and in that second round, in the next round, it was kind of okay. I had to only defend myself. I was in fetal position most of the time, and all the time I was talking shit like, I can't even move, and you can't even pass me, blah, blah, blah. I was being a horrible human being, and I was taunting my luck as much as I could. And of course it got worse, because at a certain moment somebody dropped a little bit too much weight on me, and then I felt it really good. I felt the pain really good. It felt it through my soul. That one stab, when it goes through your body, you go like, oh no. And that's when my mind changed, and I was like, oh no. Then I finished the round again, finished it, because the only thing I had to do was lay in fetal position the whole time, not get submitted. And I stood up, and it was okay. I was still full of adrenaline and still full of pain, so it was okay to do. I said goodbye to everybody, went home, and I thought by myself, you know what I need? If I sleep through this, if I take one night good sleep, I should be fine by tomorrow. Take a nice warm shower, put on some Tiger Balm, and relax. Call it a day. Eat good. I'll be fine. So next day arrives, and mind you, I'm 34 years old by now. Next day arrives. I open my eyes and I'm happy, and the first move I do with my body, and the shooting pain goes through my body, and I was like, oh fuck, this is not a pain for a day. This feels completely different. And now that the adrenaline was completely gone and I was completely present, I guess, feeling everything, oh my god, the pain went through me. Plus, a new symptom, a very new and fun symptom, is that I couldn't move my arm. There was no strength in it whatsoever at all, and my hands were tickling. I don't know where I came up with the word. I don't know if it is a word, but it's like insects walking around on your fingers, and then it went numb. And that's when I went like, oh no. Okay, the movement in my arm was still able to do. As I stood up and I started my day, movement in my arm was able. But of course, no training. Next day, same thing. Didn't get better, didn't get worse. Next day, same thing. And so the days passed, and then I talked to a physiotherapist, and I talked to the students, because I talk a lot. So everybody I could tell this to, I was telling this to, oh, this is death for me. It's the end of life and everything, you know. And I talked to a couple of physiotherapists, and of course they gave me exercises to do. And the exercises I did was like, this is 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 10 weeks, maybe a couple of months of exercising before I can get full mobility back. And I was done. I was so tired, I was so overtrained, and I was so in pain that I was like, I don't know. Maybe I go to the doctor, maybe something like that. But let me tell you something else. Like, I know I recognize this in a lot of other men. It's like, why would I go to a doctor? I don't go to a doctor. I'm not dying. Everything's fine. I'm not going to go to a doctor because of something that I'm feeling right now. I'm not going to do that. And but the pain didn't at all let up. Nothing, just worsened. And no matter how much movement I did, it did not help. So I was stuck. And mentally I was stuck as well, because I didn't see a way out. Until one of my students reminded me, hey, that seems like a neurological problem. That seems like a problem that has to do with your nerves and your let's say with your software system instead of your hardware system. And it turned out it was more like that. The injury was more nerve related because of the tingling in the arm and the loss of strength and all these kind of things. That it wasn't like like when you get arm bar too hard, or when you get knee bar too hard, or you get your heel pop. Like it's not tendon damage. That didn't happen. There wasn't tendon damage. There was actually nerve damage, some kind of impingement that happened with my nerves. But I've never felt that before. So imagine the angst and the fear, plus joined in with being overstressed and overtrained and everything like that. I couldn't think. I was like, I'm done with my favorite thing that I have been doing for so long. But alright, enough of me wallowing in that moment of despair. You get that I'm kind of repeating everything again, because in my mind it was the same thing. I was repeating the whole shit. I'm like, I'm done. I'm never gonna be anybody in jiu-jitsu, at least. Depressing, I know, but those were the thoughts that were stuck in my head. Wasn't able to train, and that fucks up with your brain too. Don't tell me if you're not training, you're not working out, and you're used to doing it. If you don't go, it'll screw up your brain. Good. So let's jump over to Gijs. And I've met Gijs before. He was one of our students, and he was there in the beginning when right before, around Corona, when Corona started happening. We formed this little group, and Gijs was a member of it, and we were training together. We did a couple of courses, and it was nice. And eventually I asked him, like, what do you do? And he explained it to me, and I cannot explain it back to you and how it works. The most simple way to explain it is like if a physiotherapist is working on the hardware of your body, he's working on the software. He's working on the traumas that your body has had, and that eventually did certain traumas that change the behavior of your body in a way. So you walk a little bit with a limp, although you're actually fully healed, but your brain still says that area is hurt, so let's protect it. And through all that, you're not getting back to what you were. Now, I knew before I had any injuries or anything like that I had all these traumas in my body, because I've been training for most of my life. Of course I had traumas on my body. So I went over to him, and he did I talked a little bit, explained what I was doing, and he did the most magical shit ever. He was like touching like the tip of my nose, and by doing that I could move my hand, and he was then tapping on the top of my head, and then I could move my jaw, and then he placed his finger in my jaw, and I was like unable to do shit, and then he would do the reverse of that, and suddenly I felt stronger and better and everything like that. So it's immediate. That's the thing, it's immediate. But because I didn't have any prolonging injuries, and I was taking care of my body to a certain extent quite well, I was like, this was an awesome experience. This was amazing. I did leave that place walking lighter. I did leave that place that day after having that moment with him, after working on myself with him. And he takes his time, by the way. He will take his time to look through your body and test everything and check if you're okay, and check if there's any trauma anywhere hidden or left. And that was the first time. And the best experience I had was, he also told me, like, the next day you might be really tired. And I was like, I'm not going to be really tired the next day, and something like that. So I got off of the table where he does the pressure pointing stuff and everything like that, and I started walking around, and I immediately felt lighter. I felt straighter, my posture was straighter, and I hadn't even realized that I was walking not straight. I haven't even realized that until I started for the first time to walk straight and upright and everything like that. And it helped me a lot. And the next day when I got home, I spent like 2 days hungry and tired. I was done. It's like I got a beating or something like that. And all the treatment he didn't involve any kind of force. That's the most ridiculous part. It was literally pressure point kung fu. That's how I can explain it. Like, it was pressure point kung fu. And it's not that. It's something else. And I'll share all the links and everything to it a little bit later. I'll show the links in the bio. But that's how I can explain it to you. That's how I can make you understand for what I'm going through. So, having done that, I eventually got into the car, went home and everything like that, and completely forgot, because in my mind's eye, this was like a little bit of a fancier way to do chiropractic, but it wasn't. It had actually changed me. But of course, with me, I have to always learn from hindsight. I have to always go through shit before I learn something. So I went again to now this was a little bit later on. This was this year, when I had the injury, the one with the chest plane and everything like that, and I lost the control of my arm. So I went to visit him, and he immediately opened the doors and very friendly and helped me, and understood you could see like the desperation that I had in my eyes. And I talked to him, and he immediately started treatment. He immediately started testing things out, and he said, if I can help you, if this is something that I can do, because I hadn't been to a doctor, I didn't take like the x-rays that I should, but if this is something that I can help you with, then I will. And he checked me out, did some of his manipulation, and the manipulation went he was looking for what was wrong with me, and I was telling him, was accompanying him, and you could see by that little manipulation and those little touches. And at the moment, I started to feel tingling in my hands. So the more he worked on me, the more tingling came back in my hands. There was a reaction, and that was the first time that I ever felt a reaction into anything. Not my posture, not stretching, not anything else had brought back a reaction, but this did. And he kept working on me and kept talking to me, and it was very reassuring. One of the things that I do have to say, like above anybody else, is that his treatment is also reassuring. His presence is reassuring. That's really nice to have. And I left that place, and I wasn't cured. I wasn't immediately done, but I was feeling shit again. I was feeling my fingers again. I was feeling my arms again. And most importantly, I was feeling the possibility of getting better again. And the possibility of getting better again is everything. Like hope. Let me accentuate that P again. Hope is what makes it happen. And I knew, like, hey, this in hindsight, like, it doesn't seem like it was that bad, but in that moment I was scared and desperate. I wasn't training at all. I wasn't doing shit. I was doing nothing. I was laying in my bed, like, and barely laying in my bed, because every time I laid in my bed I was in pain. So I was kind of like side laying in my bed playing Nintendo Switch. No, not Nintendo Switch, because my ex-girlfriend had my Nintendo Switch, which, by the way, if you end the relationship, get your shit back. I missed that Nintendo Switch for a while. Oh, by the way, thank you for giving it back. Now I'm happy that I'm playing with it again. So in that period, it, like, getting that hope back and getting that feeling back was amazing. So he said, let me know what happened. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how you feel. So the next day, first message I wake up to is his message, like, how do you feel right now? And lo and behold, slight improvement. Now this is after weeks and maybe more, even like let's say weeks and weeks of non-improvement, of me getting used to the pain and then continue training, thereby worsening my time, because I took a week off of pain, and I wanted to go back to training so badly that I trained with pain, and it just got worse. It didn't get better at all. I just got used to the pain and just did whatever I could. And now, for the first time, I was feeling my fingers again, and that was such a good thing. And the feeling from my whole hand, it started to come back to the knuckles. And then from the knuckles up to the joints. And the feeling day by day by day was getting better and better and better. And he kept sending me messages like, hey, how is it now? How is it now? How is it now? How is it now? And it was improving so much. It was incredible. To the point that I decided to myself, you know what? I never want this to happen again. I want to build so much muscle around my body and so much muscle around my joints that I don't want to feel this pain again. So I ended up training more with the help of one of my students. To training more my body, doing personal training and everything like that, and lifting weights and stuff. And I started to get better and better and better and better. And then one of these days, and then I got almost to full recovery. I'm like at 95.5%. And just one of these days where I was really tired, I wasn't paying attention to my body, and I wasn't listening to my body. I lifted up, I was sitting down and was going to do incline bench presses with weights that I'm used to do. And I lift that weight up and it immediately drops down into my chest. And I was like, oh no, oh shit, oh fuck, oh no. Again? All my strength gone again? I have to do this again? And I was like, oh no, fuck. Like the desperation. I didn't try to show it, but I'm 100% sure that people saw it, that I went back. My mind was fucked. Alright, immediately I start telling my mind, you can get better. You're gonna get better. Like this is part of it. Just go through it, and then you'll see at the end. You'll see in the end you're gonna get better. But luckily, at that moment, Gijs was right there. And he said, sure, I'll take a look. And he took a look, did the manipulation, worked on me again, saw that everything, and worked on those pressure points again, and liberated something in my body. I don't know what it was, in my chest or in my shoulder. And almost instantly I felt like the nervous system coming back and flowing and doing everything it should be doing. Almost instantly. And then the next day, again, that tiredness of having worked with something that is so profound, that tiredness just coming back. And then afterwards, again, all the energy coming back, and all the strength coming back, and all these things coming back. And there's one thing I want to tell. It's like, it is in a way a quick fix because you feel an immediate difference, but the road to recovery is always a little bit longer. So I can say that after the second incident, where I just dropped the weight out of nowhere on my chest and I couldn't feel again, like one good day, one bad day, then it got back to 100% again. And now I'm working back on building strength, which means I'm improving again. But this is a work of weeks, of days, of months. And I know I have to insist on this and keep working on it. But that is one part of it. That is one part of the story. Yeah, I think the important part of the story is also to tell you of how important it is to have people that are so dedicated to health and improving your body and improving how you work and improving your quality of life, like Gijs says. It is a blessing to have this man on the earth, and it's a blessing to me that I know him, because he took away a lot of my worries. And he has helped me a lot. So this podcast is dedicated to him. This podcast is dedicated to his work. And this podcast is dedicated to the beautiful things that he has done. And I really want you guys to go check it out. Go check him out. All the links, all the bios, everything is going to be down on in the messages. But I personally also want to thank him through this medium Man, you have given me, like, you cured my body, man. I'm able to do the things that I love again and work on growing again. And you have been an instrumental part of my recuperation. And I thank you for that. Now, what exactly it is he has done on me is pure magic. And that's why in the beginning of the podcast I said I kind of believe in magic. No, I don't kind of believe in magic. I do believe in it. Because I met damn magician. So guys, I don't know where you are in life, or if you're injured, or if this message comes through you in a moment where you are injured or going through some shit with your body. Like, go seek proper health. Like, especially men, go seek proper health. There's no shame. Look, I'm the first one to not go to a doctor, to not take a pill, to not do all these things and try to believe in recuperation and stuff. But you're not a doctor. You know your body better than anybody else. I agree with that part. But don't sit around waiting, not healing. Like, are you, if you're in the situation that I was, and I tell this to myself, are you in your house, in your room, healing, getting better, or are you just hiding from the world? And I know we tend to do that shit, but don't do it. There's amazing people out there, and one of these amazing people is Gijs. So if you want to know the stuff that he does, the links are going to be below. And if I can urge you to do anything, is get help yourself, but grow out of it. Heal. Don't hang around waiting for I don't know. If you don't do anything about it, nothing gets done about it. Get better. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. I hope this story has inspired you, or at least taught you something. And I hope you take a look at what Gijs is doing. And I wanted to spin the story around what was happening to me, so that you can get like a feel for how much it helps. And I could have done a little promotion thing or something like that, but I didn't want. I wanted to tell you the whole story of it. And if you listened, I'm happy. If you're here, if you didn't listen, you weren't able to. That's okay. Then you're not listening right now. So what am I saying? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all you have done. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for supporting this. Check out the links below. If you're able to donate, donate. That's not really what I want. What I want is to grow Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the Netherlands. What I want is to create a community of men like-minded that want to see the world be a better place, that want to work towards having a better world. They want to work on themselves so that they can work on the world and make the world a better place, and have children and families in a community or a group of people that they can grow themselves. That is my goal in life. That is my goal with this podcast. And I hope to see you around. If you ever see me on the street, say hi. And if you want to donate something, just put money in my hands. I'll be happy as fuck. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Have a wonderful, wonderful time, and keep getting better. Oos.